Okay, good evening. This is the November 16th, 2023 meeting of the Needham Conservation Commission. I'm Dave Harrer, Commission Chair. Before we get started, I'm going to confirm that members and staff are present and can hear me. When I call your name, please respond. Sue?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Fred?
I'm here.
Peter?
Here.
And Allison and Polina may be coming later. Deb
Here.
and Clay?
Here.
Clay's here, okay. This open meeting of the Needham Conservation Commission is being conducted remotely, consistent with Governor Healy's March 2023 extension of the open meeting law, temporary provisions. Supporting materials have been provided to members of the commission and are available on the Conservation Commission website. The public is encouraged to follow along using the posted agenda. Before we go to the first item on the agenda, let's cover some ground rules for effective and clear conduct of our business and to ensure accurate meeting minutes. I will introduce each hearing on the agenda and then introduce the applicant and/or their consultant to begin the project presentation. After conclusion of the applicant's presentation, I will call on each commission member to provide their comments or questions. Please hold until your name is called. After comments or questions from the commission members, I will solicit questions or comments from the staff and then from the public. Please remember to mute your phone or computer when you are not speaking. Please remember to speak clearly and in a way that helps generate accurate minutes. For any response, please wait until the chair yields the floor to you, and please state your name before speaking. Finally, each vote taken in this meeting will be conducted by a roll call vote. Okay, so let's first cover the minutes from last, I guess it's from last week's meeting, or our last meeting. Does any commission members have any comments that they haven't already provided for the minutes? No comments? Okay, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of, I forget the date, could you?
October 26th.
Yeah, can I have a motion to approve the minutes of October 26th?
I move to approve. Second.
Okay, let's vote. Sue?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Fred?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay.
Allison.
Oh, Allison, I didn't know that you came.
Allison. Aye.
And you vote
Aye.
aye, okay. So, are there any enforcement or violation updates from the staff?
We have been reviewing the monitoring information provided for 1297 Central Avenue. I do have some updates, but our review is still going, and I apologize we're a little bit delayed just because I was out with COVID for a couple weeks there. But I'll have more, I think at the end of the meeting we can talk a little bit more about where we are, and I think they're on the right track, but I'm happy to raise that kind of in our other discussions, I guess.
Okay. All right, let's go to hearings. Sabrina Lake, was that already continued, or we need to continue it?
So we're going to continue it again to the December 7th meeting.
Okay. So Sabrina Lake nuisance, aquatic vegetation management, DEP file 234-912. They want to continue until December 7th. Can I have a motion to continue?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Sue?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
Fred?
Aye.
Peter?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Okay, next, 49 Green Street, that has previously been continued. Is that correct?
Yes, I think we did continue that till the December 7th meeting already.
Okay. So next is 80 Robinwood Avenue, and that was continued. And who is here to speak for 80 Robinwood? Richard Kirby?
Yes. Good evening. I'm Rich Kirby from LEC Environmental, and with me tonight are Rob and Sandra Pettit, the property owners and applicants. And we filed a notice of intent back in September for an addition, a second-story addition for additional living space at a Cape-style home at 80 Robinwood. And as part of that project, they're actually raising and rebuilding the attached garage and expanding the garage a little bit. They're only expanding it by about 296 square feet, which is well under the 25% threshold for stormwater management. At the hearing, and I can share my screen, I think the commission seemed okay with the project, but we are removing a couple of trees. And there's also an outstanding order of conditions for which the commission wanted a certificate of compliance. So we've been working on that since the last hearing. And if you bear with me for just a second, I've got a lot of windows open here, so I just need to find the application. Here we go. So share screen. There it is. So the this is the plan here. This is the red outline is the existing garage that will be raised and rebuilt and expanded toward the back over existing lawn area. There's a landscape hemlock tree right in here that has the Willia delgid. It's in pretty rough shape. There's also a tree off to the side here that's just over the property line, very close to both houses. It'll definitely need to be pruned to accommodate the proposed construction, and a portion of the root system will likely be damaged for excavation for the frost wall. So we'd like permission to remove that tree, and Rob put together this planting plan. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can, might be easier to read for you. This is the tree removal sketch. Here's the landscape hemlock here. Here's a landscape maple, likely planted when the development was constructed. And Rob's proposing some mitigation that you can see here. A red maple back in the isolated vegetated wetland, a river birch here in the isolated wetland, and then 4 high bush blueberry bushes right in here along the edge of the isolated wetland. So that's the tree replacement that Rob, I think, worked with Deb or Clay to prepare this. And lastly, the order of conditions that was issued in December of 2020 for some drainage improvements, that was a joint order of conditions for 74 and it was a 74, Rob, and 80.
It was, yes. And
Yes,
we also have Diane Simonelli from Field Resources on as well today.
Oh, great.
Who did the request for that.
That's right. So Field Resources is also on the line. They did prepared the as-built plan along with the request for certificate of compliance. So I think the commission has everything they need, but I'll turn it back to the chair, to the commission, and we're happy to dig into anything else you'd like to talk about.
Okay, so let's first, we'll consider the notice of intent, and then I guess later we can consider the certificate of compliance. So let me ask the commissioners if they have any questions or comments. Sue?
No comment.
Okay, Reed?
Nope, no comment.
All right, Fred?
No questions.
Okay, Peter?
No questions.
And Allison?
No questions or comments.
All right, Chair doesn't really have any comments. It looks like you addressed our previous comments. So let's have a vote. Let's have a a motion to close the hearing for 80 Robinwood Avenue, NGWP number 20, notice of intent.
And to close.
Any second?
Second.
Okay, we'll vote. Sue?
Actually, I just have a quick question. Do we have to close the first order conditions first? The outstanding?
I
Mm.
think procedurally that does make sense. I think if you close this hearing, there was a draft exhibit, and before you move to accept that draft exhibit to issue the order of conditions, we can move on to the COC. We could even do that now out of order because I believe it'll be a pretty quick COC review. Staff is recommending the issuance of the COC, but I'm happy to pull up those plans once you finish the vote for the motion to close if that's your will.
Oh, yeah. So, Sue,
I move, well, I'm assuming everything's okay, with, Clay and Debbie with the, to close on the outstanding order conditions. And
well,
then,
we have a vote on the table to close the hearing on the notice of intent.
okay,
And
aye.
then- Aye. Okay, Reed,
Aye.
Fred,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
and Allison,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, do we want to go to the certificate of compliance? Out of order, is that okay? All right, so who is it? Diane is going to discuss that.
You're muted, Diane.
Sorry, push the button, but I didn't get it. Yeah, Diane from Field Resources. I'm here to review the certificate of compliance for the joint order of condition that is open for 74 and 80 Robinwood. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so here we have just the synopsis of what we found. The as-built did show that there was a grade drop a little bit at the fence with a little bit of crushed stone, which Clay and I did walk the property, and it was insignificant, but I just did want to bring that to your attention. It was, I think, just kind of to reduce any erosion because it was an existing grade drop. Additionally, there was administrative approval to replace an existing deck. We found it very difficult to determine. I mean, it looked like it was approximately the same, but because there is no final as-built nor the plan that came in front of you for this work had any dimensions, we couldn't say for certain, but again, the deck looked very similar, scaled similarly. So, it would be our guess that it is the same, but again, to confirm exactly, it would, we can't determine that. Finally, or the next item that we found were field inverts. Unfortunately, some of them were not available, though again, as Clay noted, the system has run for a year or so now, and it does seem to be working. The inverts that we found, some of which were from, it's kind of varying, and we found it a little confusing because some of the inverts that we found were for the downspouts, some were for the sub pump, and yet there are others for the actual system, because there's actually two pipes there and some drops from the drain pipe into a mini catch basin, if you would, that drops down into the main drain that brings it to the town drainage system. So again, the inverts that we have wouldn't reflect the natural flow that you would expect to see to bring it all out to the street. But again, I think it's a function of having mixed inverts from the 3 different systems. The final thing is based on we have a variety of pictures which we can go through. Again, we weren't part of the project for the order of conditions for the previous project. But it's very difficult to see as to whether or not the pipes are perforated or not, though there is one picture that shows a perforated pipe, but it wasn't installed. But again, the fact that the system seems to be working properly, we would tend to believe that it is perforated. But again, we can't confirm that. Additionally, the homeowner had provided, if I could just get back there, has also provided some paperwork from the town. Can you see that? I don't know if that popped up for you. Let me see. Let me stop sharing for 1 second, and I can get back into that other screen. Yeah. So the town. Can you see that certificate of compliance from the town?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was provided to the homeowner on June 23rd, 2021. So again, they did some inspections. So again, that would tend, we tend to believe that obviously with this letter that everything was installed properly. Additionally, there are some pictures here from the installation. As you can see, it's difficult to see as to whether or not it's perforated or not, but they did some.
Diane, maybe could you just give a little bit of background for the newer commissioners, just what the purpose of this
Oh, sure.
project was?
Sure. Let me go back to the plan. Again, we weren't the one permitting, but primarily this particular, I'm going to stop sharing and come back in with the plan. This particular project was to eliminate some flooding that was happening. Oh, I guess I don't have the plan open. I'm sorry. There was some flooding happening on the back of the lot for both 80 and 74.
I think, sorry to jump in. I think Rich had done the original application, so he can always provide some color as well.
Okay, so this is the plan that we found here. So basically there is a wetland here, isolated wetland here, both of which, from my understanding, if you want to jump in, Rob, were actually encroaching on the house in the lot, creating some issues for both homeowners. So they proposed, there's a little bit of riprap here that collects any water that could be coming from this particular wetland. Additionally, this is an isolated wetland, which also kind of drains down. Again, this is perforated pipes that run along this whole system that will collect groundwater at a specific elevation that was determined. Again, we believe we're on the same datum. It seems very similar to the original plan. And it then drains gravity fed to the town drainage system. It also includes a sub pump from 74 and the downspouts from 74. I'm sorry about the dogs. Again, with that, that's kind of the history of what the project entailed. If I could go back to the pictures.
Would it be all right? I'm just asking the chair if we could provide just a little bit of a background.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just
kind of add on.
Be brief. Be brief.
So in terms of the reason for this, you know, historically, we found that especially as new construction happened on the street, there was more and more of a need to provide some drainage. Outside of the wetlands that were in the backyard, we were getting some pretty extensive flooding on a very regular basis that was kind of getting worse year over year. Historically, there'd been kind of a drainage system out behind the backyards in the neighborhood, but as lots were built up, that kind of went away and the water started to pool. So this was just a way to sort of take the water out of the yards, and that's why these feeder pipes I believe most of the pipes are perforated, but again, it's hard to tell in some of those pictures, but they certainly should have been. But the goal was to get the water that was coming into the yards out to a storm drain in the street that then exits out into at the end of the street into the town forest. So it's not going into a sewer system. And in terms of operation, that's certainly what we've seen. Flooding is much less often. The wetland areas on either side of the yard continue to collect water and retain water for extended periods in the spring and the fall. But what we aren't seeing is the water creeping up into our yard and potentially flooding the house as it used to.
Okay, any other comments from the applicant? If not, let me ask the commissioners if they have any questions or comments. I guess, you know, you could just raise your hand, commissioners, if you do have a question or comment. Okay, now I understand the staff has reviewed this and has a
I think
recommendation.
Fred raised his hand.
Yeah, Fred?
I was just curious, do most storm drains go into the like open land, or do some do that and some go into a sewer system? How does it work?
I can answer that, Fred. You know, it's not uncommon for storm drain to collect water from the surface and go into the larger storm drain system. And there's a variety of structures that allow that to happen. A lot of times around Needham, you'll see head walls where surface flow then is collected in a storm drain. But it all goes into in Needham, it goes into a dedicated storm water system, not into a sewer.
Thank you.
Anybody else? I know, Clay, you had your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I was out on the site with Diane last week to review these as-built plans, and I'll just pull up the plan here. The original project, as mentioned, was to pretty much clear the flooding of the yard area. The yard historically had been abutting this wetland system here, and it's very likely that when the subdivision was built prior to the Wetlands Protection Act, this was probably all one extensive wetland that eventually was filled in, and with the stresses of construction and further development of the neighborhood, it tends to overtop this wetland and kind of flood the area. When this was originally reviewed by the commission, they were looking to essentially install some kind of dry well or something just to capture the overflow at these inlet points. It was determined that that wasn't going to be feasible, so they did go through the process to get approval from DPW to connect to the existing drainage system under Robinwood Ave, which does outlet just about 2 houses down at the end of the street, essentially into that overland flow. When we were out there, it had been after some recent rains. This wetland does not stay very inundated, and we knew that before. It's mostly the flux of water as it after large rain events or after large snow melts. However, they did have the stone check dam prior to the inlet on the wetland side, as it was required by the order conditions. The deviation noted that there was some gravel laid down. The fence actually here is a replacement of the previous fence on the same fence line. It did have a small gap at the bottom for wildlife movement, but it's also noted this fence terminates here and that it's completely open going around the fence there. Based on the site visit and staff recommendations, the gravel here seemed to be more of a stabilization at the foot of the fence. It did not impede the little bit of gap that was at the bottom of the fence. And based on the photos, as well as site observations, there wasn't regularly running water. I know that was one of the concerns originally with the inverts, was whether it was going to be draining groundwater and constantly flowing to the drainage system. In this case, it was a dry day after recent rains. The pipes and the inspection ports, I believe there's an inspection port here, back here, and there, I think this one might have been covered, but it was not draining water regularly just from groundwater source. And as noted with the photos they provided, Sean Harrington at the time was the superintendent of the water sewer drain divisions. They would have gone through him essentially and that department to get approval prior to, and then they would have inspected the system. So their sign off is also a certain level of confidence that staff has with the system as it was proposed and approved.
Okay, great. Any final comments from anyone? Okay, Len, can I have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance to 80 Robinwood Avenue, DEP file 234-854?
So
Um,
moved.
And
As-
and just, if I could add, that's also for 74 Robinwood as well.
Yeah, apologies. The agenda only lists 80 Robinwood Avenue, but it is for 74 and 80 Robinwood Avenue
The
under the
same
same.
DEP funds. Okay.
Yep.
All right, 74 and 80 Robinwood Avenue, DEP file 234-854.
Mhm.
And we had a motion.
Fred moved and
All right,
Sue
so we need a
seconded.
second. Who second?
Sue,
Okay, so let's vote here. Peter?
Aye.
Allison?
Aye.
Sue?
Aye.
Fred?
Aye.
Reed?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. All right, well, thank you. Good luck.
Okay. Thank you for.
Thanks
your
very
time.
much, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay. Next project is 190 Edgewater Drive, DEP file 234-916. It's notice of intent. And I believe Tom Schultz is going to present for the applicant.
Yep. Good evening, everybody. My name is Tom Schutz from Gouder Consulting, and I am here on behalf of the applicant at 190 Edgewater Drive. Clay, I don't know if there's a Joe Webby in the other side as well. He's the engineer for the project, and he'll take any stormwater questions. And also Doug Sherman, he's also a part of the project as well.
all right, they should be pulling over now.
Awesome. So I'll share my screen so we can go through the project. So this was a project that we submitted in early October, and we have had a couple of comments from the staff that we have worked through external of the Conservation Commission and come to now. So we're ready to present the project to you in what we believe to be a finalized project. So this is the existing conditions plan for our site. To the north of the site, we have the Charles River, which runs east to west in this section. We also have a large bordering vegetated wetland, which is located to the south of the Charles River right here. We have the 200-foot riverfront area, which is this line right here, which we'll see later on in a colored version, so it'll be easier for everybody kind of to see better. And we have the 100-foot inner riparian zone in this section here. Currently, we have a single-family house, which is this area here, with an existing deck, driveway. We have also a swimming pool with infrastructure and a pool house, and a large tennis court area. We're going to be moving now to the proposed conditions. Just another note, this is DEP file number 234-0916. We'll run through the existing conditions just really quick again in colored version. Again, Charles River to the north of the site here. This blue shaded area is the bordering vegetated wetland. And then we have the 200-foot outer riparian zone in this dark blue section, the 100-foot riparian zone in this lighter blue section, the 25-foot buffer zone in this dark green, and then the 100-foot buffer zone, which is shown in this light green. So the applicant is proposing a deck that is located in this section right here. It is 1,360 square feet. 630 square feet of that will be built in an existing section of deck. If we look back into here, it's going to be built in this section right here.
So it's an addition.
In addition, correct. So 630 square feet of the addition will be an existing porch. So that will not be any increase in impervious surface there. The rest of the 730 square feet will be in lawn. We also have a small 40-foot second story addition in this section here. To mitigate for the additional impervious surfaces and the stormwater runoff created by them, we have doubled the size of the stormwater management system, which is right here. We originally had one system and now we're doubling it to the size of two to handle the 770 square feet of new impervious surfaces that are going to be taking place. Additionally, we have a planting plan that we're going to be putting within the 100-foot riverfront area. So here's our addition right here, 1360 square feet. We're going to be doing a 1,400 square foot riverfront planting area, which is going to be complete with 24 plants, which are shrubs, including serviceberry, maple leaf viburnum, sweet pepper bush, and high bush blueberry. So if you have any questions now, I'd be love to take them. If you have any questions regarding the stormwater, you can direct those to Joe Webby, who is the engineer for the site. But we are requesting an order of conditions for the building of this addition onto the existing single-family house.
Okay, thanks, Tom. So let me ask the commissioners if they have any comments here. Sue?
Any trees down?
Sorry?
Any trees down?
We are not proposing to remove any trees on the site.
Thank you.
Reed?
Nothing for me.
Fred?
No questions.
Okay, Peter?
Yeah, so the mitigation area is to compensate for the increase in impervious, and that's a DEP file. That's according to the DEP file.
So they're not,
Or it's not
they're
a big
not
enough
gonna be
percentage.
over the 10% threshold,
it.
so they don't need to propose mitigation or restoration for that. But they do need to show an improvement to the existing
Got it.
riverfront area, so.
So
And-
Peter, yeah, we're removing some, sorry, just to go back to the riverfront planting plan, we're removing some of this lawn here, and we're just gonna make this a mitigation area with a seed mix and the 24 shrubs. So taking out some sections of lawn and making it a naturalized area for wildlife, and it's gonna be directly adjacent to the stream, so it'll be an improvement in that area.
I see, and it's near this. I couldn't tell on the map whether it was on the river or whether it was on the wetland.
It's right here. It's actually on the wetland in this section right here.
Okay. Right. So
And
it's
I don't know if you guys need them to request a waiver for work in the 25-foot or not.
Is it the green line is the 25-foot?
The
Right.
green line is the 25-foot buffer zone, correct?
And where is the planning? It's not clear. to
The
me.
planting plan is going right between GC 10 and GC 12.
So it is within the 25-foot.
Correct.
Okay.
It also misses the sewer easement, doesn't it?
It does miss the sewer easement. Yes.
All right. Peter, do you have any more comments?
No, that's good. Thanks.
And Allison?
No comments.
All right. I looked over the stormwater plan, and I think it's good. So I just want the commissioners to know that I did look at that. All right. Any comments from the staff?
No, I think at this point, you could close. I started drafting the order, but did not get to finish it. We're looking for some hard copies of the updated information. So you can close it if you would like, and we can issue it at the December 7th, or you can hold it open and close it at that point. Doesn't really matter.
Okay. And do we have anybody in the audience with their hand up?
Nope, nobody.
Okay, so can I have a motion to close this hearing for 190 Edgewater Drive, DEP file 234-916.
So moved.
Second,
All right, let's vote. Sue,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Fred,
aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. So, Deb, let me ask you a question. You mentioned waiver for working in a 25-foot zone.
So historically, even if they're just proposing plantings, you guys have had people go through the exercise of requesting a waiver for work in the 25-foot.
Okay, I mean, that's-
You know, I don't know necessarily if it makes sense if it's just plantings, but that's a discussion for you guys to have. And then we have the $1,000 waiver fee that we generally will give back if it's just for an improvement such as plantings. But it is work in the 25-foot, so that's up to you guys if you want them to submit the waiver request or not.
anybody have any thoughts on that?
I think, I think we should be consistent. I think
Okay.
they're probably, they probably
Right,
should.
so either you think that they should continue to ask for a waiver for doing work in that area, or
I
for
do.
plantings, you do, okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Should we vote on it now?
I don't think you need to vote on that, but so Tom,
Have they
in our
requested waiver?
bylaw, it kind of gives instructions of how to request the waiver.
Okay, do
And
you have a
also,
form that you
it's
were,
not a form, it's kind of, you just go through the steps in the
Okay.
bylaw for the format. And ask for a waiver of the waiver fee at the same time, so they can vote on that.
so
So,
we were not submitting the $1,000 check for the hearing, are we? Or how is that gonna work?
do you guys feel as though that's necessary? Is there any reason that you wouldn't give back the $1,000 for just doing plantings?
No.
Okay, so
Yeah,
I
I
think
think-
we don't need that exercise of just having the check, but if you just want to send over the waiver in that format, like a week before the next meeting on the 7th, and
Okay.
then we can just include it in the order.
Okay, yeah, I will get it to you by November 30th.
All right, great.
Okay.
All right, thanks. It's a good presentation, and we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Have a good night, everybody.
All right.
Ew.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, so next we have two requests for COCs. First is 68 McIntosh Avenue. And I guess we have the applicant, Anthony Lee Mayer.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Mhm.
See if my video connection. Oh, yep, my video even works. Hello.
welcome.
So I can actually jump in and share the screen on this one.
Thank you, Clay.
So this was originally a project for site improvements, I believe. Remind me, Anthony, was this a full tear down or just it was a tear down rebuild, correct?
It was a renovation.
Renovation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the deviations that they listed in their plan pretty much included the building footprint itself is exactly as proposed. They were not removing any mature vegetation as part of this proposal. Everything was done pretty much in the existing lawn and previously disturbed areas. The patio, Anthony had reached out to us, to staff, I think over the summer or maybe back in the spring. They wanted to expand the patio a little bit from what was proposed. It was not a major expansion, so staff at that time wrote them a recommendation just to capture it on the COC, since it did not significantly change the footprint of the impervious surfaces. They did install the stormwater units. The other kind of deviation that that staff reviewed, there was an existing shed here at the back of the 25. For the commission members that were on the commission when this came before us, I think about 3 years ago now, or less than that, 2021, maybe 2 years ago. Regardless, there was historical dumping of lawn debris and things like that back here, so that was cleaned up. It was done so without disturbing the remaining vegetation that was back here in the 25-foot. There is a fence that they've extended where the shed was. We did issue an administrative approval for the removal of that shed. And the fence pretty much kind of capped off that area. Since there was no removal of mature vegetation, they did not have a mitigation planting plan that required monitoring and kind of robust planting of trees. However, the mitigation plan did require planting, I believe, of 6 plantings kind of in this area, just to renaturalize a bit. They've planted all 6, and then they planted additional plantings where the shed was. But again, the purpose of that was not to remove vegetation, but just to establish vegetation again where the kind of debris piles were pulled out from the back of the fence line. Aside from that, everything else was pretty much as proposed. At this point, staff recommends issuance of a full COC for this one.
Okay, great. Does anybody have a comment? Any commissioners? Raise your hand if you have any questions. Comments? Nobody? Okay. So could we have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 68 McIntosh Road, DEP file 234-889?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, and vote. Sue,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Fred,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison. Aye, and the chair votes aye. Okay. So, good. Let's move on to our final item on the agenda, which is.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Which is a request for a certificate of compliance for 94 Brookside Road, DEP file 234-31. Gee, that's an old one.
This one
And-
should be pretty quick to close out. I believe that we have Amy Wheel and Mark Harding is the applicant. Essentially, this is a project, as you noted, this is a very old filing, 234-31. It was originally the order was originally issued in 1980.
Wow.
For, again, commission members that were on the commission as of about 2 or 3 years ago, this property did come before us for a new filing, which was a tear down, and I'll share the screen here, the kind of the plot on the GIS mapping. This was the property site that had a fire that scorched a number of trees and burnt the majority of the house. The reason the 1980 order of conditions essentially was issued for the establishment of the original driveway. The reason why staff is recommending a full COC for this one is because there's already a superseding order that initially tore down the burnt down house. They have been in the process. It's still an open order, the newer one, but they've replaced a number of the trees that were removed after the scorching. They removed a car from the wetland area, kind of a historical car that was dumped in the back area. And while that project is still in progress, they're not requesting the COC for that one quite yet. The 234-31 had to do with a driveway that's no longer even there. The whole site has been kind of reconfigured under an approved order of conditions. So they're looking to close out that old historical order to clean up the title as they're making progress on the current open order of conditions.
When was the fire?
Hmm,
Was it recently?
I was
Yeah.
2018, I think.
yeah.
Okay, any of the commissioners have any questions or comments?
Should I raise my hand?
Yeah, I see you. Sue?
I'm sorry, I didn't. Just a quick question. So what we're closing out is the original order of 1980, and there's a superseding order which is still open with what's being done at the moment. Is that clear? I mean, is that right?
Yeah, that
Yes.
sounds right.
Okay.
Anybody else? Any other comments? Okay, so let's have a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 94 Brookside Road, DEP file 234-31. Anybody?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Vote Sue,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Fred,
I,
Peter,
Aye.
Allison. Allison.
Looks like we lost Allison.
I see Paulina's here. You want a chance to vote?
I joined too late. I don't know. I
Okay,
just heard the tail end, so I'm not going to vote.
all right. And the chair votes aye. So, all right, good luck. Look forward.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, Allison said the dog pulled the cord out of her computer.
That's a good one.
My goodness.
The dog ate my homework, man.
Yeah, I know, huh?
So
Dog
just
ate-
quickly, Clay.
Yes.
So that's the one for 1980, and the one for 1978 was moot already, was it?
That one, so the original order of conditions, I think that was number 18. I don't have it in front of me. That one had a COC that was issued, I
Oh,
believe,
yes,
many
you're
years ago, and that was registered.
Okay. So
Right, that one was taken care of, Mark. The only other thing, Clay, is just, we can circle back on this, is the that natural resources, if you found
Yeah,
any
that doesn't get closed out.
ever.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, so I think Deb has more familiarity, but pretty much we determined it was a way of just recording that those
That's-
wetlands exist, and it wasn't
That's-
really done through our office. I think currently that document, if something were to happen with it, would go through DCR at this point, Department
Yeah,
of
that-
Conservation and Recreation.
And that's what I explained to the buyer, Clay. So if you or Deb wouldn't mind just confirming that again on email, that would be great. So I can put that to bed as well.
Thank you. So the only thing outstanding is the one that I took over from Peter 2 years ago.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. That's wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys. Bye.
All right, so that's,
Did you guys get a copy of the proposed meeting schedule for next year?
yes,
we did.
Okay, because we really need to vote on that so that we can get it up on the website. So did anyone see any particular issues? Did anyone look at it?
Yes.
I
think
looked
that-
at it. Do we always have 2 meetings a month?
Yes, we generally do. November, I think, Clay, we usually have one in November.
Yeah, due to holidays in November, we're
Yeah.
usually just down to one, and occasionally in July. I think 2 of the 4 years I've been here, we've historically had one and canceled the other due to lack of applications. I know summer's usually the busy time, but it seems dead center on the summer. It is usually when people are out in the field actually doing the work rather than applying for things.
Yeah, so, but yes,
looks like you have one in December too. Oh, no,
Okay, I was
I'm looking
just
at,
curious.
I'm looking at the wrong column.
No,
We're
you're
just-
right. There's one in December, I think. I missed.
No,
the
no,
meeting
it's
because of
the
holiday.
left column that's the dates, the right column is the application deadline. So the
Yeah.
dates in red are the meeting dates. Now, it looks okay to me. I mean, we could always change it if something comes up, right?
Yeah, I don't believe it's set in stone. If we get halfway through the year, I'm pretty sure that we can amend it and post it to the website.
right. We share our license with other boards. So that's just why we try to
Yeah, get it
stick
nailed
with
down.
it as much as we can. but
And,
if you're good with it,
and Zoom might be amended also?
you never know, Sue.
You gotta work on the governor, man,
I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
or a
There's always
statewide,
the new year.
a statewide petition.
Mm,
Start getting some signatures. All right, so if nobody has any other comments, let's vote on the proposed schedule for 2024. So could we have a motion to
I
accept?
move we accept the schedule.
I second.
Okay, so let's vote. Sue,
I,
Reed,
Aye.
Brad,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison.
yeah, her
Oh, yeah.
The dog. She
her
got the
dog ate her
All
cord.
right, Paulina,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Okay, great.
And then there's also just the outstanding, the Exhibit A, draft Exhibit A. I think I passed around for the 80 Robinwood Avenue, the new bylaw filing. I can pull that up. It's also pretty simple, kind of a pretty straightforward project. As mentioned, this one does not fall under the Wetlands Protection Act, the state regulations, since it is work proposed within buffer zone to isolated vegetated wetlands, which is a bylaw only resource area. It does reference the mitigation plantings they will be doing, which is the removal of up to 2 trees, and then the replanting of 2 native trees and 4 native shrubs, as well as the erosion controls being established outside of the 25-foot buffer zone. Pretty much most of the other conditions are stock conditions that we include in just about everything, including the DEP file signage, dewatering plan if necessary, pre-construction site visit. The additions that I added that I wasn't quite sure whether you wanted in this or not was whether you wanted the 2-year monitoring with the annual reports for the 2 trees and the 4 shrubs, since they are mitigation for 2 removed trees.
Yeah, isn't that our standard?
Yep, it just it wasn't mentioned prior to drafting, so I just wanted to make sure that that's why I put it in, but
Yeah.
highlighted it.
I agree. Consistency.
Outside of that, they'll still have to submit the WPA form for the COC request, as well as the as-built plan, since they are doing structural work, and the notice or the narrative signed by the engineer or surveyor. In this case, they did not have a stormwater unit since they are under the 25% threshold. So there's no operation and maintenance plan written into this order of conditions. And also, as previously noted, that previous order you just closed out would suggest that the groundwater table is not suitable for any kind of subsurface infiltration.
You know, can I ask a question about that?
Sure.
I mean, the Conservation Commission doesn't typically allow draining of wetlands. But it seemed like that was approved before. You know, I just wonder what
So,
the thinking was there.
yeah, in this case, their inlet structure with the check dam had to be at a certain elevation to avoid draining of the wetland. So it really was just to capture the water that overtopped the wetland and into the yard. The topography of the site is tough because it is a lawn area. The wetlands is no longer a wetland where the yard starts, but it's likely because that was all filled in when the house was developed. So the original proposal, when they came before the commission, had a bit of back and forth and flux about the design as to how can they address the water without draining the wetland itself. But based on site observations, both at the time of the application as well as the post conditions, they still have the topography for the wetland basin. The inlet structure is still above where that wetland would otherwise flood to. And it's not usual that the commission would allow them to hook up some kind of groundwater or drainage system to the town system. In this case, they did get the approval from DPW and had to show that really there was no way to infiltrate on site, even with
Yeah.
the flooding of
And
the eye.
Janet did meet on site, kind of to go over the existing conditions and kind of brainstormed with them about what might work, so I know that she was overseeing
Yep.
part of it.
All right, so any commissioners have any comments on the order of conditions for 80 Robinwood Avenue?
Very nice explanation of the history. Thank you.
Okay,
That's good.
so we ready to vote? We have a motion to issue the order of conditions for 80 Robinwood Avenue, NGWP number 20.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, let's vote. Any further discussion? No? Okay. Sue,
Aye.
Reed,
Aye.
Fred,
Aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison,
Aye.
and Paulina,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. All right, anything else? We got one more minute.
Well, oh, yeah. There we go.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's
I'm gonna ask our minute taker, Kristen, to start working on our backlog of minutes. You know, she's been doing a great job with our existing minutes, so hopefully gonna get working on, we have some leftovers from COVID days that need to get drafted, so I'm gonna ask her to start working on those. What else do we have? Foster property. Sad,
no, don't give up. Don't give
but
up.
Dave has plan B.
Yeah, do we have any idea what's going on there? Like what the discussions are with Inspire?
We will be the last to know. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think the town knows anything right now.
Yeah,
Not.
They're not even saying who the new developer is, so. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think I have, we're working on the Trails Committee. We've had some issues getting that going, but we're meeting with Park and Rec on Tuesday next
yeah,
week.
tell them that the chair of the Conservation Commission got lost. at
Okay.
Ridge Hill.
Yep, because the
Lost at Ridge
signage,
Hill,
yeah, so
because of it's
I do
fine.
apologize for that taking so long.
Probably,
But hopefully by next week, we'll have everything in order and we'll be setting up the Trails Committee meeting.
that's great.
And we have the consultant, Ty and Bond, is on standby to talk to the Trails Committee about the proposed signage and moving forward with that. So they're just waiting for the date of the committee meeting. And they will be joining that as well.
That's great.
Did the tree policy, Concom's tree policy get finalized? I know I missed one meeting.
No, not yet. I think, does anyone else have any comments or anything on that they wanted to submit?
I did comment on it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think all the comments from the commissioners were incorporated in the document, and then I believe, we sent it to the town council for his review.
mm-hmm.
And we're waiting to hear back from the town council. So once we get any comments from the town council, we'll circulate a final draft. And then, hopefully we can vote to adopt it.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. That's all I have.
All right, well, thanks, everybody. I hope everybody has a happy Thanksgiving.
Are we
And-
gonna close? Are we gonna close on 190?
thought we did.
With Edgewater?
We closed
Oh.
the hearing. We closed the hearing, didn't we?
Close the hearing, but are we gonna issue the order of conditions and the waivers?
No, I was, yeah,
We
That's
don't have
fine.
to- Yeah, we don't have.
it'll be drafted for the next meeting.
Okay,
All right.
All right,
Okay.
so, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
a second.
Okay. Vote Sue,
Hi,
Reed,
I.
Brad,
aye.
Peter,
Aye.
Allison.
Oh, no, go ahead, sorry.
Hi.
No, I, and Paulina,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. All right, we're adjourned.
Wait, Clay has the signature sheets already printed out. And they'll be available tomorrow, starting at 8:30. So if anyone happens to be around and wants to start signing tomorrow, they'll be available.
thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Just
you.
I have a
Good night,
quick question.
everybody.
Oh,
Have a
Quick
good
question.
Thanksgiving.
Since I missed the first short meeting in this commission, do I have to sign anything or did I?
So did you sign? Hold on.
I think I signed everything last week.
Did you sign, sorry. All right, Allison. Me too. Peter. All right, looks like you're good.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Thank you.
All
Should we
right.
close,
Anything
should we
else?
close, do we close the meeting again?
Sure,
We're all set. All right. Good night, everybody.
sorry.
Good night.
Bye.
Thank